about this again. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, the surrender system and Marvel Rivals currently right now fucking sucks. And apparently, with this latest update, they fixed it and they changed it, which they should have did that shit a long time ago because of what we're going to talk about in this article. Excuse me, I just had to fix it because the page wasn't loading properly. But they're changing how surrendering works. Now, if you're not familiar with how surrendering in Marvel Rivals works, one, it only works in competitive mode. It doesn't work in quick play, which I'm fine with personally. Two, the way surrendering works before was fucking stupid. Now, I read like the first paragraph of this article earlier, but the way it worked before is there's 6 people on your team because it's a 6v6 game. If 5 people vote, let's surrender, we give up, and one person says, I don't care, I want this game to end. I don't want this game to end because I want to torture you. I want you to suffer, which is a real thing that happened to me on stream if the VOD is still up. But if somebody wants to do that to you, they could just do it. And guess what? If all 6 people in the match don't hit surrender, not only do you lose elo and take that L, but the match keeps going and you got to lose time out your life paying a match with somebody, whether it be somebody you don't want to play with because somebody on your team is throwing, whether it's somebody on your team is being weird and you're trying to end the match early. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If all 6 people don't surrender, the game doesn't end. Now, from what I got to in this paragraph or something like that, it says if you're in a full squad of 6 and only 5 of your teammates and only 4 of your teammates agree, match keeps going on. 5 people have to agree now instead of 6, which is fucking stupid. If it's majority vote, if 4 people agree, don't surrender, the match should just fucking end. Matter of fact, if 3 people agree to end the match, the shit should just end. But I'm gonna leave that alone. We're gonna read the rest of this article and see if that's just what they're saying here. If you're in a full squad of 6, agree. If someone leaves and you're stuck with 5 or even 4 players, you can still pass the vote without a full consensus. Oh yeah, that was another thing too. If 2 people left, their vote would still be needed even though they're not in a match. You can still pass the vote without a full consensus if you're unlucky enough to go down to 2 or 3 players though. Everyone left will need to vote to surrender for it to happen. So if 4 people leave the match and it's me and another person and they vote, let's stay. I gotta stay. Team size 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5. Why is it not 4? If 4 people on the team agree to surrender, you should just end the fucking match. Now, it shouldn't just be 2 people, but if 4 people on the team agree to surrender, no matter how many people are in the party, the game should just end. I'm struggling to decide if this is good or not. They went from a shitty system to a slightly less shitty system. It's fucking stupid. On the one hand, if you're not getting anywhere in a match and most of your team agrees, lowering the vote. Also, you shouldn't lose elo if your whole team agrees to surrender. Not even if your whole. If the surrender happens by majority vote, you shouldn't lose elo at all. Either that or you should lose half elo or something like that. And whoever didn't vote to surrender gotta lose the full elo. No, matter of fact, do it. Everybody else loses no elo. Everybody who voted surrender, they don't lose any elo, but the people who voted don't surrender, you lose the half elo if the match continues to go. You said you didn't want to surrender? You said you didn't want to surrender? You want to let the match go? Yeah, take this full penalty, bitch nigga. You lose elo regularly, but everybody who voted to surrender, they good. Lowering the voting requirement should stop you from getting stuck with one player refusing to end it. Pause. On the other, not pause because that was like a self-ending joke, but you get what I mean. On the other, I can see people giving up much sooner in competitive play. No. That's not the case, bro. Even when they might still have a chance of clawing back a win. Some teams, that's just not going to happen. You're always capable of clawing back a win, but I'm a fan of the mindset. It's not that it's impossible. Are you going to do it? Now, that's not to say that you can't do it, but are you? Because there's a difference between I can have $20 and I have $20. There's a difference between I can be a millionaire and I have $5 million in my bank account. You get what I'm saying? One person has the million ready. One person is still trying to get the 1 million. On the other, I can see people giving up much sooner in competitive play, blah, blah, blah. This is where rivals, lack of an Overwatch style role queue comes into play, however. No, the fuck it doesn't. Shut up. We don't need a role queue. As for the rest of the imminent patch, NetEase Games is fixing some issues with a handful of heroes. Winter Soldier, Magneto, Fantastic Iron Fist, and Strange all have a few minor glitches that are spoiling abilities, but no longer. It's coming on June 26th, so that was yesterday. And they already revealed the patches, but nobody gives a fuck about that. Oh, are there more codes? You get free shit. It's just the Iron Man code. Okay, so it's all the bullshit from before. Just to see. Nope, there's nothing new. I don't even think you could claim this skin anymore. Valid until 25/35. Yeah, you can't even claim this skin anymore. I don't know why the fuck they got this up there. They need to edit this article and take that out. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about is how Marvel Rivals reviews are getting more and more worse. And the tweet I seen this on mentioned something really good. And it was the fact that right now the game is in what's called a poke meta. So for those of you who don't understand a poke meta, I'm gonna make it real simple. Characters that stand 50 miles away from the fight and fly in the sky, hide in a high perch, stand behind a wall right next to the healers, and shoot you from 1,000,000 miles away. Those characters are poke characters. Now, for the people who want to make their YouTube videos where they drop 50 bombs every fucking match and they don't miss a shot and they play the game until the game bans them from thinking that they're hacking, those people will love this. But the people who casually play the game, the majority of the player base, the casuals that buy all the skins and stuff like that, we don't like this. We don't like this. For the simple fact that poke metas, when poke is the meta thing, it alienates half the player base. The reason why a lot of people thought the dive meta was overbearing or that it was broken was because it was a lot more accessible to the average player. Like somebody like me who has a decent level of game sense but may not be the greatest when it comes to having Kovacs aim labs for 55 hours out of a 24-hour day level aim training. For people like us, the game sucks to play in a poke because yeah, I can understand you saying skill issue on one hand, which is fair. Technically it is a skill issue. I won't argue on that ever. You are completely correct. But this is a business. When you are making a free-to-play game and you are a business, you want to keep people on the game. And one thing I've always said about shooters is if you want to add melee weapons into a shooter, I have no problems with it. My only request is that you make it so that it's fair. Right now, if you're sitting in a back shooting niggas from around walls, you have a significant advantage that majority of the brawl characters don't. And not being as capable as previously as diving a backline, especially with a character like Black Panther, who has a sustainability mechanic that just doesn't fucking work, and a move that straight up doesn't register and give you the benefits and bonuses it's supposed to half the time. Like, characters like that are fucking suffering. They're fucking suffering, and that shit makes the game overall less fun for a lot more people. But let's read more into other reasons why the score, the ratings for it may have dropped. Subsequent reports present a quite different image. According to SteamDB, the game's player count plummeted with a 24-hour peak of only 100,000 in June, an 80% reduction from its previous high, which is fair because that's still over 100,000 people playing the game. That's a lot. That's a lot. There's a lot of games I wish they could have 100,000 people peak, and that's your average. That's still pretty good for a game in its first year. Now, the 80% thing, I will say, is kind of bad, but it's hard to explain accurately without like yapping on for a long ass time about the math. But basically, if your game drops off 80% of its player base in the first year, that's not that bad. Now, once you get above 90, oh yeah, you're cooked. But for a game this large that had millions of people on it, 80% is normal. Now, like I said, 90 to 95 and higher, oh yeah, something's wrong. Something's very, very wrong. And even with the 80% drop off, they're still at 100,000. That's a lot of people. Imagine 100,000 people right now in your bedroom. That's not the same as looking at something like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and there being 15 fucking people on that game at any given time. Like, no, that's not the same. You can imagine 15 people in your room. You can't imagine 100,000 people in your room. Imagine 100,000 people liking any random one of your posts versus 17. Okay, so back to this though. Despite the release of Season 2.5 and additional content such as Ultron, which I'm not gonna lie, in my personal opinion, Ultron's not fun to play or fun to go against. He's a necessary evil because he's a response to the dive meta being so fucking strong and all flyers basically being weak to the same character. But what he unintentionally did by putting a support that could fucking fly in the game, that makes it so that yes, it's easier to heal flyers since like now you're standing 2 feet in front of them and most supports can't heal unless you're standing this fucking close in front of them. Like this the distance you gotta be in front of a healer sometimes to get a fucking heal. So having Ultron be in the sky so that he can be that close to the to flyer characters is a good thing balance wise, but gameplay fun wise, in my personal opinion, Ultron's not that fucking fun. He's a necessary response, I'll say. NetEase's monthly upgrades have failed to stem the tide, prompting fans and analysts to doubt the game's long-term viability in a competitive genre dominated by titles like Shit Watch 2. Forever it's fuck that game and fuck Blizzard until we get the story mode. Furthermore, recent Steam reviews have turned to mixed with only a 60% positive feedback, a stark contrast to the game's early accolades. What's started the sentence off with but when you could have started the sentence off with what's or just kept it as one sentence. Excuse me. But what's making players fall out of love with the game exactly? As of the 25th of June, you just said that. However, recent player feedback indicates increased frustration, many blaming the engagement optimized matchmaking. Yeah, I be forgetting about that, but yeah, EOMM is the fucking devil. And short version, EOMM is basically a matchmaking system that's designed to keep you on the game for longer, designed to keep you hitting that one more round button, which, by the way, that's not just something they put there as a cute little quirky, oh, they understand gamers thing. No, it's part of a mental manipulation tactic to try and get you to play the game more by saying, oh, how much could one more round hurt? Just one more round after one more round. It's a whole lot of psychology stuff that goes into it that I talked about in my microtransactions video. But basically, like, they're using certain language to trick your brain into casualizing hitting the play again button over and over and over. That's why most of the time you don't realize it. But when you play the game, you're playing the game, you end the match, you blink, you look up, your finger already clicked the one more round button and you're in the loading queue. That's why sometimes when you want to get off the game, and I'm saying this because I notice a lot of my friends do this, like some of my friends that are older than me and some of my friends and cousins and stuff like that are younger than me, when I play the game with them, they just keep hitting the one more round, like this them at the end of a match. They're just clicking a one more round button obsessively, not taking breaks to give their hands a rest, not taking breaks to give their mind a rest. They just keep clicking a button, clicking a button, clicking a button. And it's like, yo, bro, in between matches, chill. Scroll on TikTok for 30 seconds or something if you have to, which that's not the best solution. Better solution is take a swig of some water and go get up, stretch out, give yourself 5-10 seconds, then sit down, because like, you know, if you read, well, they don't come with games anymore because games don't come anymore, as in there's less and less physical games. But if you read any manual for any physical game, I don't know about now, but like pre-2022, because that's the last time where I was consistently reading game manuals, because that's when they were coming in every game. But pre-2022, if you read any game manual, it says after about 20 to 30 minutes of playing the game, you should pause the game, get up, stretch out, go look at something other than the screen, drink some water, and then come back to the game every 20 to 30 minutes. And that also, you shouldn't play the game without another light source besides the TV, because no, it's not true that staring at the TV from a certain distance fuck up your eyes, but it is true that looking at a TV in a dark room fucks up your eyes. That's why, like, even if I'm just casually playing a game off stream and I don't have my room light on, I'll have this light on, my ring light, so that it just diffuses the light. But yeah, this EOMM shit is the goddamn devil. A Steam reviewer vote. Obviously, based on playtime, I enjoy playing this game and will continue to play it. Yeah, that's the fucking problem. If you don't like the game, get the fuck off. There's plenty. Bro, great games have been coming out for the last fucking... How long has it been since the 80s? 80s to the 90s, 90s to the 2000s, 2000s to the dimes to the 2020s. So that's 30 or so years. For the last 30 or so years, plenty of great games have been playing out. If you're playing a game and you're miserable on it, pick up another game. You got 30 years worth of games to go through and play. I don't want to hear that, oh, games are boring, gaming is dead. You got 30 years worth of games to play. Modern games and older games. Don't give me that excuse, modern games suck. Because, first off, that's objectively wrong. But let's just... Oh, I pulled off the lid by mistake. Let's say for a second... Let's lie and say for a second that you're even the slightest bit objectively correct, right? Let's just pretend for a second. Let's just lie and say that. There's still, like I said, 20 years of games to put that games that are either in your backlog or waiting to be discovered by you for you to play. So no, that's just objectively not true. Go play something else. That's the fucking problem. This system, let me clip that. I might want to. This system is designed to keep players playing as much as possible without necessarily concerning itself with keeping matchmaking balanced or giving you fair skill-based matches. It does not reward consistency or skill alone. It manipulates your matches based on play habits and predicted emotions. Graphical, and a part of that is bot lobbies. So if you lose too many matches in a row, or you do too bad in a match, so let's say for example in a match you go 0-5, you get put in a lobby where the enemy team will be filled with bots, and on your team you'll get 2 bots, so that you're not forced to play in a fucked up lineup, like for example 5 DPS or like 5 heals or like 4 tanks or any kind of bad lineup like that. Performance has been getting worse with every update. That's a fact. Every update I gotta reset my configuration files to fix some fucked up new setting they put in that fucked up all my other settings. Stuttering, poor PC optimization, fucked up servers. Some days the servers will be fucking amazing, then other days the servers are just in like a fucking PowerPoint. These performance issues have been around particularly since season 0. The day this game came out, it crashed on me 6 fucking times. And if you don't believe me, I got video proof of it. With Run Review claiming performance has been getting worse with every update. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I've also gotten an upgrade from my CPU and I'm about to upgrade my GPU, so I can't tell, bitch. And it's on the brink of being unplayable now. From being able to hit 180 FPS at launch to dipping below 60 with stuttering. An attempt to optimize the game needs to be made sooner rather than later. It can't be ignored. Devs need to realize this, please. NetEase acknowledged the frequent GPU crashes and issued a statement. After intensive testing in collaboration with the NVIDIA team, we're happy to share that updating our game-ready driver version blah 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 can significantly reduce the likelihood of GPU crashes. I need to do that then. Feel free to update it if you encounter this issue. We recommend updating it if you experience this issue. Well, maybe I need to upgrade my fucking graphical drivers, because yeah, it's been a bummer playing this game and every fucking 5 seconds the goddamn game is going and blowing up in my face. Like, that shit is not fun to play in with the game slogging and sloshing around like that. That shit is just simply not fun. They need to get on it and they need to fix it. They especially need to put dive back the way it was, because like I said, the problem with a lot of shooters is a lot of the time people will add in melee weapons to the game, but they won't compensate for the fact that naturally you're at a disadvantage bringing a knife to a gunfight, literally, because I can just step back and shoot you. I'm at advantage as long as I can walk back. Now, if I walk into a wall, that's just me being stupid. But in theory, you always have infinite space to back up. You always have corners to hide and peek and poke out and shoot at me from. Because what am I going to do? I can't damage you back. You're at a distance. So they need to buff those dives back the way they were. Give Wolverine 2 Berserker dashes. Now, I really want 2 Feral Leaps, but give Wolverine 2 Berserker dashes. And please, if Bucky can have 2 Tainted Voltages, Wolverine can have 2 Berserker dashes. I don't give a fuck. Fight me on it. Still don't know why they gave this nigga Bucky 2 Tainted Voltages. He did not need that shit. But that's a whole different rant. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, they need to buff Dive again, because Dive is a little bit weak this system. And on behalf of Black Panther players, please fix that fucking no reg issue. I'm gonna split this up. Oh, actually, do I give a fuck about this? Do I honestly give a fuck about this? No, it was funny. That's why I put it in. So again, if you are new here to these streams, the way that I operate in these streams, all you must do to stay... Actually, nah. I'm gonna keep it one long video. Fuck it, we ball. Oh, actually, no. Because I want this video separate. Yeah, just reload your tab, y'all. Reload your tab.